Hi, welcome to the next video in this How to Play Advanced Stats Football series. In the first set of series, we talked about the passing plays. In this video, we're going to talk about running the football. So let's say we rolled a 78 here, and we're allowing the dice to decide whether it's a run or a pass. So we roll 78, and that means that we're going to run the ball with our running back. Each team has a sort of a running back one that we use for the game. And you can see here, you sort of move top to bottom and left to right. So we have our direction here, left, middle, and right. And so when it's determined that it's a run here, then we need to roll our 2d10s to determine which direction did the ball go. So let's say we rolled a 4, and it's going to be a run to the left. Then we need to determine with another roll, when did the running back first make contact with the defender? So this can be anywhere from the line of scrimmage all the way to the 7-yard line. At the 7-yard line, it becomes an explosive play opportunity, which we talked about with Rob Gronkowski sort of earlier with our short middle example. But basically, you roll the 2d10s, you combine the numbers. So let's say we rolled a 56. A 5 and a 6 is a 56, and then that would be here 51 to 65. So that's 3 yards. So at 3 yards, Fournette was finally, he made contact with the defender, so he wasn't touched for the first 3 yards. Basically, he got to the linebacker level without being touched. So first contact is made at 3 yards. And then one of the major parts about advanced stats and the game as we know it is run after contact. So this is a big stat for running backs. And you can see that our next roll is going to be the run after contact, or the rack roll. And that's going to be 44% of Leonard Fournette's runs had no run after contact. There's going to be a defensive opportunity here. So still another 5%, just like we had up here. And if this happens, you go over to the defensive sheet, and then you roll based off the defensive sheet against the run. 49 to 99, so about 50%, 51% of his runs, of his yardage, come after contact. Now this number is going to be different for different running backs. These numbers are going to be different for different running backs depending on how successful they've been as far as, how many yards they've gained. And then there's, for him, he has a 1% fumble opportunity. And you deal with fumbles the same way that you deal with fumbles on the pass plays. So if you've watched those videos, you'll be familiar with that. So on the rack roll, let's say we rolled a 72, and a 72 would be run after contact. So remember, we have a 3-yard gain. So if nothing else happens, he's gained 3 yards. So first contact comes, and he gets dropped for a tackle. It's a 3-yard gain. So if you were to roll 1 to 44 and there's no run after contact, then the result would be a 3-yard run. But in our case, we have run after contact. So we're going to roll our 2d10s one more time. And the yards after contact, or the run after contact, you only roll the 1d10. It's just like the passes. So to determine catch yards or yak yards, it's the same as the rack yards. So you roll 1d10, and then that number is going to be added to the 3 yards. So let's say we had a 2 on our rack roll. We add that to the 3 yards here. So he ran for 3 yards, he made contact, he got 2 more yards after contact, and that's a 5-yard run. So very similar to yards after the catch. Run after contact is very similar to that. And so that will give you the resolution to the play. Again, if there's a fumble, then you would roll for possession. If there's a double on the defensive side, 51 to 100. So 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. Any of those rolls, you would want to roll one more time to get the return yardage. So there's an opportunity for a return for the defense. And then essentially you would start that return from wherever the first contact was made. because there's no run after catch for a fumble. It's essentially he ran for 3 yards, someone hit him, he fumbled the ball right there, and so either it's the defense falls on it at the spot of contact, or it's scooped up and taken for a return, but it's always from the point of contact. So if it was 6 yards down the field, then you would start at 6 yards from the line of scrimmage. The fumble would be picked up, and that's where you would mark the return yardage from. Now, if it's a 92 for 100 to 100 for Fournette, it's a chance for an explosive play. And there's also a chance for explosive plays on the defensive side as well, so this will work the same way. But basically 4, 5, 6 yards, 7 yards before any contact is made, and essentially we're assuming that there is no contact at this point, but we're going to start this at 7 yards. So for explosive plays, you roll 2d10 dice, you combine the numbers, and that's the yardage. So let's say it's an 8 and a 9, that's an 89-yard run. And then you would add 7 on top of that, which would make it a 96-yard run. Now if you're at the 1 yard line, you're down to the goal line on the other side, but for most runs that's going to be a touchdown. So if your explosive yardage is greater than the distance needed for a touchdown, let's say you only needed to go 52 yards for the touchdown, but you rolled a 96, then that's a 52-yard touchdown run. Okay, so he just takes it to the house. So that's how you do explosive plays with a running back, and you're going to do the same thing on the defense as well. But always add the 7 to your explosive play, because that's where it sort of kicks in. If you wanted to play without the 7 yards, it's totally fine. Just give them the explosive play yardage. But sometimes you're going to roll things like a 4, and that's not really an explosive play. But a 4 plus 7 is going to be an explosive play. So just a little something that you might run into whenever you roll that. Okay, so I think that is covering the running plays. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to resolve kicking plays.